Hello and welcome back to the Star Trek Convention. I'm Heather Ferris and I'm your unofficial host for STLV 2019. And I have some special guests here. We got a family reunion, isn't that correct?
It is.
So tell me a little bit more.
I'm Louis Brantmeyer and this is my dad, Lou Brantmeyer. And Star Trek is our jam.
Yeah.
Like, last year, when he found out that I was coming to this convention, it was magic because he was like, "Hey, you know, I live maybe 3 hours, 4 hours away. Don't bypass that." And so I was like, "Oh my God, I would love to actually be able to see you and hug you for the first time since the divorce and all that, which we won't go too much into, but yeah, how."
So you guys hadn't seen each other for a long time, right? So
we had talked to each other a little bit, but
okay.
He disappeared on me when he was 4 years old. And that was really a tough time for me, losing both he and his brother for, about 2,000 miles away. Because I knew that, in my circumstances, I would never be able to really connect with him.
And it took a lot. Like, it took a lot of personal and professional development work to heal the illusions that had come between us and to let go of any fear, any doubt. And I know his heart. I know he's like a giant teddy bear. It just took me a while.
So grateful that he did that he worked through all those things, and he was able to be open to the possibility that maybe the way he perceived things was not altogether the truth. So. And I'm grateful that he was able to do that and we were able to reconnect that way.
And you guys, your reunion was at the Star Trek convention.
Have you guys played the game yet?
What
game?
What's
Yeah,
that?
have you guys played this game? It's this really good game.
It plays itself. Oh, this is
It's
with the
tantalizing, it's it practically plays itself.
clones? Is this the one that they almost took over the Enterprise?
I don't know about those sorts of details, but just make sure to read the fine print. Just make sure to read the fine print.
Brochures, but
So where can people go to find the game?
Oh, I don't know. It's just taking the Alpha Quadrant by storm. It's coming to a ship near you. Thank you.
remarkable.
Perhaps even a California
Terrifying.
class, Deck 2.
So, where were we? Oh, yeah. So, for as long as I've been alive, I've known about Star Trek and loved Star Trek. My first memory in life is seeing The Next Generation on a television screen from the bottom of a playpen, probably in our house at age 2 or 3.
Yeah, that was on Tahunga Avenue.
All right.
Remember?
No,
It was just Tahunga Avenue. No, it was actually the other place. It was the other place. Actually, the first time we met, we took him home he had come down to California to visit his friend, Richard. And I had been able to shuttle him around. And so I went back and I went up, I had some time, I went back.
Where we used to live.
This is where he used to live, and I sent him a bunch of pictures from when he was growing up. They probably wouldn't remember, the hospital he was born at and the places we lived.
Didn't remember any of it.
Of course not. That's why I wanted to give you some visual memories of what we did.
So tell me, when did you introduce? Because my mom and dad like to compete over who introduced me to Star Trek, and I'm not like taking sides. So I want to hear your story of that.
This is one of those classic answers. I do not recall. Honestly, I remember having it on periodically at home, but of course I was always very busy, working and stuff. I'm not really sure when we did introduce you to it. And I won't say me because I can't be honestly sure that I actually did. But I know we enjoyed it. And I think you remember probably a couple of times where I sent you the actual VHS videotapes.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
The Enterprise
And then
model.
Blockbuster went out of business, right? So I couldn't send them anymore. They actually had a whole series, and I was checking them off one by one as I was getting them for you, but that disappeared, Thankfully so. VHS is like dinosaur.
Yeah, it's like Star Trek is like this golden thread that runs through my whole life. I mean, my second memory was seeing Captain Kirk making out with an alien woman and decided to spend the rest of my time. I was like 4 years old making out with this older woman named Marcy. It was crazy. Anyway, Star Trek was where I always went when I wanted to feel something familiar and comfortable, like home. Like when I felt alienated or alone. So I grew up a socially awkward, anxious, introverted, sci-fi loving nerd and autistic child. Autism wasn't diagnosed until 22 years into my life, Asperger's syndrome specifically. And what I've done in the course of my life is develop myself into a public speaker, a coach, a salesman, and somebody who organizes events and groups where people...
Entrepreneur.
Oh, thank you. Where people pay me to be around me. So I went from this space of like feeling like a reject to now feeling like a rock star. And that's part of why I'm comfortable with the camera and so in support of everything that Heather does, because I love when I see a fellow entrepreneur like working it, hustling, making it happen. So that was why I got really excited about this interview. And that's actually my work, is to help Trekkies who are feeling these ways to go from social reject to social rock star, to have the sex lives of their dreams, to have the connection, the family, the tribe. And I'll drop a link to some of the stuff that I do in the description. I have a video called The 3 Massive Mistakes That Trekkies Make in trying to make their life work in those ways. But I have a gift for you.
Yeah,
a massive...
Before you go ahead. The gift. I never realized that Star Trek had developed into such a cultural thing in terms of acceptance of people, and that was never really something that I had considered until I came to the convention last year. That really made sense why it has grown like it has, and I'm grateful for that, because we need more of that in our society.
We really do. And so you guys had been separated for a decade or two, and it was almost 3 decades. And the Star Trek convention was where you reunited, right?
Yeah.
So
right there, actually.
Right? Oh,
Right.
so you could actually see it. Okay.
Yeah, it was on the other side of this insignia.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
We have that on film too. We can drop a link to that in the comments, I guess.
Yes, I was really excited about when he live fed our meeting to Facebook. And that was really neat, because I did cry,
And you have a record. You can look back and like rewatch
Yeah.
it.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, I only cried afterwards because I was so like hopped up. I was like, I got to be prepared to have this meeting be awesome. And no, I tell this story at my Empowering Austin Now events. Like, I got present to the fact that the work that I do, the work that we do, the work that I do with people is not just for them, it's for the world. It's like the gift that I was able to give you in having whatever might have been in the way, out of the way, so that I could be here for you, and so that you could be with your son again. Like that, it's worth everything in the world. And the fact that Star Trek is the context for that, like that is beautiful, especially given Star Trek is all about family and community and connection and service and love and having a world that works for everyone with no one and nothing left out. That's how I see it. Like
With everybody empowered.
with everybody empowered. Yeah, in their unique expression, gender-wise, sex-wise, race-wise, language-wise. To have everybody nourished and nurtured by all the resources that are actually right now available to all of us on the planet. They're just not organized in the right way for all of us to get a direct connection and have our lives thrive in that way. So yeah, I mean, there's something magical about Star Trek. And there was a panel that asked, like, what is the meaning of Star Trek? Like, what is its job? And of course, there's the cynical answer, which is Star Trek's job, especially with these new series, is to drive subscribers to CBS All Access.
By the way, CBS All Access, check it out. Okay.
Actually, I have now come to the point where I trust the writing team and the creators of it so much, like hearing them speak in the front of the room, even lower decks or whatever, to where I know that in their hearts, in Sonequa Martin Green's heart especially, for example, there lives this understanding of Star Trek as this beautiful mushroom cloud of love that is exploding out into the world with critical thinking and intellectual subtle engagement with the intricacies of the world, at the same time as heart-centered, like love-based compassion for all beings. And so I'm 100% in support of CBS All Access, actually, as
Go subscribe. Go register. Yeah.
as a way for Star Trek to continue. So it's the vehicle for this thing to continue, and it is in the right hands, and it isn't being sort of mangled, misaligned, and maligned by those who are in charge. It's they're doing their level best to nurture and nourish us fans, and then the world, and to propagate it, to make the meme that is Star Trek, or the complex of memes that is Star Trek, to become something more impactful. And you can see it even in the community here. The way that you get somebody who's severely disabled and they come up to the front of the room and they ask a question. Like, there's never a moment or even a thought in this community of, oh, they're different and there's something wrong with them or whatever. So anyway, I'm kind of showing my public speaker cred here, stealing the show. Do you have some more questions for us? I've got...
I love listening to you guys. I love listening to this whole thing, and I think that just being able to reunite at the Star Trek convention and then doing it once a year after, I mean, that's just special.
This is
that's
our thing. Oh, I love this man.
That is so awesome. That's really, it tugs at my heartstrings.
Oh, we love you too, Heather. You're up to good things in the world. So, yesterday I was going to get 2 of these for us to match, and the store that I went to, well, they only had one, and the other place it was double the price. So I was like, no. I'm not gonna violate my sense of professional consumer ethics by buying something for double the price I just bought it at. The vendor's room is a very interesting world. So what this symbolizes to me is how Star Trek unites the two of us. And it's from those timelines, like All Good Things, Timeless, Endgame, where they where the characters step into this really far future where everything is bright and beautiful and interesting and engaging. And so that there's the two of us, right? United by Star Trek. And I'm not sure if you guys can see this.
Oh my God. That is so awesome.
That's the thing, all 13 of you watching.
Squee!
I would love to put it on you, but I don't want to stab you. So we're just going to hand it to you.
Okay. That is incredible. Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
Oh, you're so welcome, Dad. And that,
any convention I attend subsequent to this will be on me somewhere.
Love it. It's also the easiest cosplay ever. As you can see, I'm wearing the 29th Century Time Fleet thing. Barely anybody in the world recognizes this. So all you have to do is have a shirt. We don't have to have a red shirt. You can wear any shirt. You could be on Starfleet vacation and just put it on your shirt. You could have like a tie-dye. I mean, so I just gave you all the cosplays you need for the rest of your life.
What planet should I go to for my vacation?
Risa! Go to Risa!
We need to get a Horgon for this man. And his girlfriend.
Well, I mean, it's Risa, multiple girlfriends.
Hey, that's the angle that I'm
It's
playing.
Risa.
Conscious polyamory, baby. Coming to a theater near you in Austin, Texas in December 2019. God bless it. Harold's watching this video. Anyway, we're going to have a long conversation, babe. I love you so much.
Are you sure the conversation is going to be long?
Oh, it's going to be real short. We've already resolved all those questions. That was last year when we had chaos on the bridge around that. On the bridge. So, yeah. You want to ask us what our favorite Star Treks are?
I do. I do want to ask you, but I also want to ask you too. You have a podcast, right?
Oh my God, I almost forgot.
So can you tell everyone about the podcast and where they can find you?
Yes, it's called Clever Orbits. And for the first 3 people who comment below, we will do the episode of your choice. We do graduate level aesthetic, philosophical, and scientific appreciation and engagement with the science fiction aspects of Star Trek. And we also deal with the, what I like to call moments of compassion, those heart-centered, compassion, empathy-based points like that articulate kind of the spine of what Star Trek is. And myself and Richard Futrell, who wanted to be here, but he had to leave early for work. He's a PhD in cognitive science, and we've got some great stuff. Yes, my brother Tyler appears when he can. Of course, he's the comedy. part of it. He's the plucky comic relief, as you call it on Galaxy Quest. And we'll put a link to the description in the description for the channel. And again, for the first 3, just name your favorite episodes. And if we haven't done them, we'll do them. If we have done them, we'll share them with you and maybe let you come on and redo them with us.
Just make sure you don't leave anything out, otherwise there will be a missing link.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you the links soon. So anyway,
So does that mean your dad's going to be on it one day since your brother's on it?
that's the plan. That's the plan.
It would have to be long distance, but
Yeah, that's.
It's possible nowadays.
That's the other thing. I'm praying and hoping my little brother sees this video, because my brother's still doing the work, right, to release his limiting beliefs, illusions, whatever, around this man. And this was a big breakthrough. We were texting today. I was like, hey, Tyler, Dad's here, and I'm sure he would love to talk to you. And Tyler was like, well, I actually would. This is the first time, I think, probably in 20, 25 years, when Tyler's like, I'd love to talk to Dad. And the only reason why not was he had an epidural last week for some health problems, and he's on a bunch of pain medications. So we should probably start a fundraiser for him. We'll talk about that later. He's looking forward to being both here as part of this convention and then here as part of this family.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That is so cool. Okay, so yes, back to Star Trek. I'm sorry.
All of our Star Trek fans who are watching.
I know, right?
Let's talk about Trek. I mean, this is heartwarming, but...
So what is there like a series, or, okay, here's a question.
Series, episode, or
No,
movie?
no, no.
Or all 3?
I got a good one. Is there an episode in all of the series of Star Treks out there, is there an episode that pulls at your heartstrings like this is pulling at my heartstrings?
Oh, all of them.
All of them.
Okay, so I shit you not. Or I crap you not. I don't know a better word there.
It's okay, you already did it.
already
It's
did it.
live.
We're done.
Welcome, it's live.
So I was rewatching the series. I started when I started my coaching business in 2016, and I told myself, all right, I'm going to finish. By the time I finish all of the episodes, I'm going to, have my coaching business working the way that I want it to, like a certain level of cash flow and stability and referral business and all of this. She knows, because she's got a business. And as I was watching every episode, there would be a moment where I would weep because of the characterization and my feeling what the characters were feeling. Whether it's Odo telling Garrick he'll eat with him even though he doesn't eat because of the friendship between them, or Spock and McCoy on pins and needles because. Kirk and McCoy on pins and needles because Spock is in a shuttlecraft that's about to be destroyed by a giant amoeba. And you can tell that they care. You can tell even that McCoy cares, even though he's always grumpy about Spock. And so, the one that drew me the most today, though, to give an answer to your question, is just what Sonequa was talking about in the panel. The episode where it was just before, it was the penultimate episode of season 2 of Discovery, where you get this real clear sense that, everybody's choosing to go with her into the future. Everybody is making the sacrifice along with her, and that they are choosing out of love for her. Like, they want to support her. She's a member of their family. So, I mean, that's my heartstring episode. Of course, there's also Generations where Kirk dies, but that's a whole nother story. So,
I haven't seen enough of all of the modern Trek versions.
We can fix that.
I would say, yes, I know we can.
Probably tonight.
No, I think it's a little long. I'll probably need a little longer than that. Probably another
We will assuredly watch some Star Trek tonight.
Lifetime.
Maybe Galaxy Quest, but probably Star Trek.
The one thing that comes to mind is one of the most modern iterations of the Star Trek movies, Into Darkness, where the young Captain Kirk sacrifices for his shipmates and going into the reactor room and fixing the the power source, and then him dying, and Spock knowing his friend has given his life.
Yeah.
And done the same that he did for him, the same thing he would do for him. That's one of the most compassionate moments that I see and that I felt is the sacrifice.
And for those of you who have resistance to the Kelvin timeline films, we totally redeem those on the Clever Orbits podcast, not least of which through pointing out this arc of Kirk's development from reject to rock star, from chaotic, lacking responsibility, fly by the seat of his pants.
Chaotic, rebellious teenager.
Yeah, exactly. into a real responsible leader, grounded and caring and willing to take care of his people and responsibility for his actions and just like professional. So, yeah. I like those movies
And
too.
I like Chris Pine. He's a cool actor.
My girlfriend actually likes Chris Pine as well. We'll just leave that there.
Do I hear a touch of jealousy in that voice?
Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I've asked her if there was any actor she'd want to. Well, anyway.
You know what we're talking about.
Yep. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, if he were here. And then she, of course, the last time we were having this conversation, she was like, yeah, I mean, if he was an asshole, probably not. Like, I'd have to actually get to know him and feel him out, but yeah.
But most of the Star Trek actors, they're really nice. I mean, I should say 95% of them are really nice.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one person in particular. But most
Garrett
of them,
Lang, maybe?
No, he's awesome. Garrett is awesome.
Martin Green.
I think
one person who isn't that nice.
Who isn't awesome? Who isn't awesome? No. Who is?
Let's not name
We're not going to go into
We're not
that.
gonna name any names.
Let's not
Yeah.
name names
We're
on that
not
one.
going into that. Yeah.
What we can say is it's definitely not Leonard Nimoy that we're talking about here. Or DeForest Kelly.
So,
James Doohan.
are you guys going to go up to the Voodoo Lounge, take in the sights, check out the
Possibly,
city, and then
yes.
just catch up and probably get some drinks and some food up there and everything?
We have some awesome plans for the evening. So in approximately, 20, 30 minutes right here, I'm running this STLV ASPE meetup to be in support of those wonderful, beautiful people like myself. And then we're going to see the Rat Pack. Are you going to see the Rat Pack?
I think we might have to do a live stream and see the Rat Pack. I think we might.
That'd be awesome. So maybe we can have a whole debrief at the end, whatever. The comedy show. And then after that, we've got a mastermind with some friends of ours who are working with Tony Robbins or who are masterminding with Tony Robbins. So we'll probably leave and then come back.
Cool.
And then, I don't know, the sky's the limit with Star Trek. I'll probably figure out an episode we haven't watched together and we'll watch one together.
Fortunately, his friend Richard left me the hotel key, so when he's chasing the stars, I'll be dreaming of the stars.
Nice, very nice. That's so cool. So, for the people who are watching and they want to see more of you and they want to see more of your relationship together, where can they go and find that? You said something about live streaming on Facebook. What's your Facebook page that they can go and check out?
Brantmeyer, Louis Brantmeyer. It's my personal page. I have several different businesses that I'm into, so there's a grab bag that you can go to from there. Clever Orbits, again, is our YouTube channel. And I think on my personal channel, actually, bit.ly/from reject to rockstar. That's the way to get a hold of me if you're anywhere on the journey of feeling awkward, anxious, introverted, and want more from your life. As far as me and Dad, we're planning on coming back.
Just to make sure we understand this, it's clear. It's his channel. Not my channel. He said we, but it's just his.
Well, we'll be back. We will be back.
Credit where credit is due.
It's like 400 with Gold Star. Well, it's like 600 to come here with the Gold Star tickets, plus the hotel, plus the airfare. So for me, assuredly, I will be back next year. Assuredly, you'll be back next year. 2020 is going to be an awesome year.
And I'll be back next year, too.
And you'll be back next year. Actually, can we talk about that? We had an amazing experience where he was just given the ability to be here for free.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just so don't tell anybody. There's just somebody who understood, who saw what was going on here and was like, hey, we love you, and you just go on ahead. So this community understands what it means to have subtle compassion in specific moments. So yeah.
That was amazing.
Thank you guys so much for being
You're so
on the
welcome.
show.
Group hug.
Thank
So
you.
I support Heather.
And I'm really looking forward to following the podcast and following the Facebook and watching your guys' relationship grow. That's going to be really awesome. Thank you guys so much for being on. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Cool.
My pleasure.
Thanks. So that does it pretty much for today's show. We do have one more thing before we end. We have a word from our sponsor. I probably didn't do this enough, and I should have. So now a word from our sponsor. Just a sec. I have to do this. I'm sorry. Okay. It would be good if I had the microphone towards my face. If you are attending a convention and you significantly want to improve the pictures that you are taking, please check out rentglass.com. That is rentglass.com, where you can rent all of the equipment that you need. Rentglass.com.
Is that where you rented your equipment?
No, that's
You
not.
own your equipment.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Equipment's probably an easier expense.
Right? So that pretty much does it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just a quick reminder, we are supported by viewers like you, so donations do make these videos possible. If you think that this video was worth more than $0, please donate the amount you feel that it was worth by clicking the link in the description below. We are going to be back with more live streams, hopefully 1-2 more live streams before the convention ends. But that does it for now. Join us. Resistance is futile. Bye, guys.